Yo, 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 what is going on, guys? Joey Circummark is back here with another video for you guys. Happy Friday to all of you, and I'm going to be giving you my game picks for the divisional round of the 2022 NFL season, round 2 of the playoffs. Let's get right on into it. So, coming up with the first game tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern Time, we have the 4-seeded Bengals at the 1-seeded Titans. So the Titans, of course, the 1 seed, so they had a first round bye. This is their first game, and of course, they're hosting. Bengals coming off the win against the Raiders in the wild card. Not their best performance, but I think for their first playoff game as a very young team, I was pretty impressed. Burrow looked solid. The defense played pretty well, and they came up clutch in the end to get that to stop them from scoring. So the Bengals played okay in their first playoff game, and again, they played well enough to win. As for injuries, though, as far as I know, no Larry Ogunjobi. I think he got hurt in the last game, and I think he had surgery this week, so he is done for. I would have to think the rest of the season, but as far as I know, he's not playing in this game. That's a big loss because Ogunjobi's great as a run stuffer, and he's actually improved as a pass rusher. I think he had his best year rushing the passer this year, so that's a big blow to the Bengals' defensive line. But they still have Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson, and DJ Reader. He too has been battling some injuries. I'm not totally sure if he's healthy for this game. And then as for the Titans on the flip side, huge development today. They have officially activated Derrick Henry. He is back. Yes, Derrick Henry is back for tomorrow. So I've been thinking about this all week. How are they going to work him back in? I mean, he's making his debut in a playoff game at home as the number 1 seed. Like, what is their game plan? Like, are they really going to go right into feeding him 30 times a game? I'd have to be a bit skeptical. Also, the Bengals' defense weakness is their secondary. Their front four is really good. Granted, without Ogunjobi, it's not as good, but it's still very good. But yeah, I don't know. They rely so much on Derrick Henry, but I still cannot see them going right to feeding him 25 to 30 times a game, right? That just seems a little off the charts. I'd have to think that they would kind of ease him into it a little bit. I also think it depends on how the game goes. Like, if they find themselves behind, they'll have to throw. If they're ahead, they're obviously going to want to run the ball, but I think they better be really cautious, and they should work in their backups. I guess they have, Jeremy McNichols and Dontrell Hilliard, who they can work in and get and split carries. I think that's pretty important. Titans defensively, much better than last year. Last year was a serious issue. This year they've improved. They're not great, but they're decent, I would say, at this point. What they really, and I really hope, you know me, I don't like the Titans, but I think what the Titans did, and I think that the Ravens need to follow, is they upgraded their pass rush, and that's why their defense is so much better this year. It's not great, don't get me wrong, but it's significantly improved from last year. Why? They improved their pass rush. Their secondary got worse in the offseason. They lost Kenny Vaccaro, Logan Ryan, Malcolm Butler. Their secondary is not very good besides Kevin Byard, but their pass rush, and again, last year it was like one of the worst in the league. This year it's been very solid. They got Jeffrey Simmons, who's continues to get better and better. Harold Landry, who's one of the more underrated pass rushers. Danico Autry, who's solid. And then Bud Dupree, who is overrated, but he's still an upgrade over what they had last year. So I'm telling you, man, pass rush is so important. So anyways, I think in a way the Titans are a bad matchup for the Bengals here because the Bengals' weakness in general for them is their offensive line. Their offensive line is not very strong. Jonah Williams is okay, but in general their line is not great. And I think that's kind of how the Bengals got the better of them last week. The Bengals defense didn't play, the Raiders defense did not play great last week, but the Raiders got some solid pass rush on Burrow, and that can really throw any quarterback off. So I think if the Titans are able to get consistent pressure with a four-man front, that's really going to help them. Because I don't see them slowing down that wide receiver trio. Chase just is playing like he's unstoppable right now. And then you got T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. So I think this is going to be a shootout, man. This is bold. I think it's going to be a total shootout. I've heard some people have been saying that the defenses are going to show up. I disagree. I think this is going to be a total shootout. Who knows? I could be way off. But I'm going to take the Titans here, guys. I got to go with Tennessee. Bengals for a second playoff game. They're still inexperienced. The Titans have the experience. They know what to do. They're at home. Derrick Henry is back. I got to go with the Titans here. Let's go with Tennessee, 37-34. I think it's going to be a very good game. Next game, guys, this is our Saturday night game tomorrow night. We have the 6-seeded Niners at the 1-seeded Packers. So, Niners coming off an impressive win against the Cowboys last week on the road, underdog win. What a crazy finish that was, man. That was just crazy. You had all the pre-snap penalties, Dak Prescott sliding, running a QB draw with no timeouts left and staying in bounds, the ref getting in the way. That was just caused absolute mayhem. But the Niners got the win. That's the important thing. And they got good news on the injury front. They lost Nick Bosa and Fred Warner during that game due to injuries. Apparently, they both had a great week of practice. They are back, and they're going to play. I mean, they're probably not 100%, but I think that the hope is high. So that's really huge for the Niners because Fred Warner and Nick Bosa, they're two best players on the team, I think. So without them, they would be in really big trouble, and they're going to need all the luck they can get going into Green Bay against the Packers. And I know an upset is possible here. I could see it, but the Packers are always good in the divisional round. It's the NFC Championship where they have issues. The divisional round, they're almost always good. And I kind of remember last year when the Rams upset the Seahawks in the wild card, then they went into Green Bay, and I think a lot of people were saying the Rams, they're a bad matchup for the Packers. The Rams are going to upset them. Packers, yeah, they had a first-round bye. No one cared. They weren't rusty at all. They came in and spanked them. So I'm not going to say a total repeat, but I think the Packers are going to win this game. The Niners, granted, do give the Packers a hard time. They played each other earlier this year. The Packers won by only 2, but that was in San Francisco, and I think what people are forgetting, it's in Green Bay this time. The Niners have to go to Lambeau. I feel like all the past games have been in San Francisco. The NFC Championship game, the game this year, the game last year, as I said, NFC Championship in 2019. So the Packers are at home. They play so much better at home, especially Aaron Rodgers. So I got to go with the Packers here. I could see the Niners pulling it out, but the Packers are an explosive offense. I think if the Niners have to abandon the run too early and trust Garoppolo to throw, I do not trust him in the least. And he almost choked the game away last week. So I'm going to go with the Packers here, guys, 31-17. And then, guys, this is our first Sunday game. We have the 4-seeded Rams and the 2-seeded Bucks. So the Rams coming off a pretty dominating win over the Cardinals last week. Really, I mean, I was a little bit surprised at how much they won by. I thought they were going to win, but they kind of destroyed them. Bucks, meanwhile, kind of dominated the Eagles. They did let up some points in the end, but it was kind of in garbage time where no one cared. That was expected. I would have been shocked if the Eagles pulled off that upset. So, again, the NFC, when it comes to the top-seeded teams, it's really interesting because every team seems to have another team's number. For example, the Rams kind of have the Bucs number. In the past, the Rams have won the battle over the Bucs. Meanwhile, the Packers own the Rams. The Packers have the Rams number. But meanwhile, the Bucs have the Packers number. So, when it comes to the NFC, it's really about matchup and what matchup you get and what matchup you like best. So, if the Rams win this game and go to Green Bay, I feel totally confident about Green Bay going to the Super Bowl. But if the Bucs win and we get an NFC Championship game rematch, I'm going to be nervous, man. Brady in the playoffs, you just don't want to face him. So I'm actually expecting a repeat of last year when it comes to the Bucs and the Saints. You know, the Saints beat the Bucs both times last year. They did it again this year. But they did play in the playoffs, and the Bucs did win that game. The Saints still have the Bucs number, but in the playoffs, the Bucs did come out on top. I think the same thing is going to happen here. The Rams do seem to have the Bucs number, at least in the regular season, but I think the Bucs are going to win this one. They're at home. They're a higher seed. Brady, very good in the playoffs, so I got to go with the Bucs here. I could see the Rams winning, but I don't know, man. I'm still not sure that Stafford is going to win these big, close games. I think this is going to be a close game. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. When it comes to winning in clutch big games, I trust Tom Brady way more than Matthew Stafford, so I'm going to take the Patriots here, guys. The Bucs here. What am I thinking? I think it's going to be close, but I like Tampa Bay. Playoffs, at home, they have everything going for them. I'm going to go with Tampa Bay here, guys. Let's go with Tampa Bay, 31-28. And, guys, this is our last game Sunday evening. We have the 3-seeded Bills and the 2-seeded Chiefs. I've said this before. Really, the only game that I'm truly confident in this week is the Packers beating the Niners. The other 3 games, Bengals, Titans, Rams, Bucks, and Bills, Chiefs, really could go either way, and I don't know who to go with. I'm giving you my best analysis here, but it's going to be tough. It is really going to be tough to nail this one down. Anyways, Bills, Chiefs in Kansas City. A lot of conflicting factors here. The Bills, hottest team in football, don't think it's debatable. They were 7-6 at one point. Lost an overtime game to the Bucs. They were 7-6 after they lost that game. Their playoff hopes were very much in jeopardy. But then they went on a tear. They've won 5 in a row now. Besides last week, their competition has not been huge. I will give them that. But last week, they played just about as well as you possibly could. Allen played like he was a legendary quarterback. He had the game of his life last week. He played incredibly well, didn't turn the ball over, destroyed the Patriots' defense, and on top of that, the Bills' defense played very, very well. So the Bills are hot, and again, the hottest team in the NFL right now. If I'm, not the Bills are the last team I would want to play right now. They're hot. They seem to be just getting better and better. They have a lot of motivation and confidence. So I would not want to play the Bills right now. But if I had to pick a team to upset, or not necessarily upset the Bills, but ruin their streak, it would be the Chiefs. I think if the Bengals were playing the Bills would blow right by them. The Titans, I know the Titans beat them earlier this year, but the Bills are hot. I think the Bills would win that game. But the Chiefs, I think they are a team that can knock the Bills off. Granted, the Bills did beat the Chiefs earlier this year. They kind of dominated them, actually, at Arrowhead on Sunday Night Football. Granted, though, that was when the Chiefs were in their slump. They got off to a really rough start this year. That was when the Chiefs were in their slump. Now they're hot again. So I don't know. This is going to be a really interesting game. I don't think it's going to be kind of a domination win for Kansas City like it was in the last playoff game. AFC Championship game last year, the Chiefs kind of dominated. I'm not expecting a repeat. I think this game's going to be much closer. I think Allen will play better. He kind of played like crap in the last game, playoff game against them. So it's going to be close. But I like the Chiefs here, guys. I know I really think that the Bills can win this game, and I want the Bills to win. Absolutely. I think it would be really fun to see the Bills go to the Super Bowl and just make a deep run. But I can't bet against Mahomes and Andy Reid in the playoffs at home. I just can't do it. The Patriots are the only team, as far as I know, that went into Arrowhead and won in the playoffs, and that was back with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I don't know. I can't bet against the Chiefs in the playoffs, man. So I'm going to go with Kansas City here. I think it's going to be very close, but I like Kansas City pulling this one out. Let's go with KC 30-27. And guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I am out. Peace out. Have a great night. Thank you so much for watching. Go Ravens. And I know no Ravens this year, but we will be back next year. Enjoy the games. Good luck to your teams if you are a fan of either of those teams. And I will see you guys in the next one.